is enough said.
Happy Thursday, Heat Nation. Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Before we get started, guys, just a little heads up. We really appreciate the support. Smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. We're pushing to 6,000 subscribers. And together, let's go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. A few things, you guys, that are getting in my head today. Trying to be as positive as possible, but last night, man, the Miami Heat just blew it. The Heat lose to the OKC Thunder 115-101, and this was an embarrassing game, you guys. The Miami Heat showed unbelievable presence in the first three quarters, and the positive thing about last night's game is that Spo went with the starting lineup that I called for. What have I been saying since we made this trade? When we traded Jimmy Butler for Andrew Wiggins, Davion Mitchell, and Kyle Anderson, the perfect starting lineup would have been Kel'el Ware, Bam Adebayo, Andrew Wiggins, Tyler Hero, and Davion Mitchell. And that, ladies and gentlemen, what we got last night. All players hit double figures. Kicking OKC's ass all three quarters. Winning by 10. At the end of the third quarter, they were up by 10. And you're thinking the Miami Heat are playing amazing. This starting lineup, this rotation, yeah. Terry Rozier and Duncan Robinson were out due to illness. Jaime Jaquez didn't play. He's still recovering from it. Tyler Hero got to play, but he wasn't his full self. But you saw that this team together was doing it, was playing amazing. And then they got outscored 24-0 to start the fourth quarter. Not a single point for half of the fourth quarter. The Miami Heat get outscored 32-8 and lose to the OKC Thunder. This is exactly the same thing they did against the Brooklyn Nets when they only scored nine points. The Miami Heat have had 8 particular games this season where they have been up by double digits and have lost those games because they've choked in the second half, choking in the third quarter, primarily the fourth quarter lately. Had the Miami Heat won those 8 specific games, they'd be second seed. This is the misery season, you guys. This is the season where you're just seeing mistakes, collapses. There we go. This is the collapse season. The Heat are doing great in the first quarter and the second quarter, and then they just fall on their ass in the second half. You've seen it so many games against Cleveland, games against Detroit, games against last night. Like, it's getting insane. This team needs help. This team needs that player. That guy that's going to propel them to the next level. Now look, it's only 2 games in. Andrew Wiggins and Davion Mitchell are getting acclimated to this team. You got All-Star Weekend coming up. This is going to be a great thing, you guys, because the Miami Heat are going to have a week off. Andrew Wiggins and Davion Mitchell, they're going to get to learn this system a little bit better. The only people that are going out to All-Star Weekend is Jaime Jaquez and Tyler Hero. You're going to have the rest of the squad here. They're going to get acclimated. They're going to practice together. They're going to learn the system better. I think the second half of the season after the All-Star Weekend, it's going to be a good run for the Miami Heat. We have a favorable schedule in March. We're 25-27 right now. We're a play-in team, but we still have a shot to get out of the play-in team. March is going to be a good month for the Miami Heat. After the All-Star, we have a game against Toronto, then you have another game against Milwaukee, a back-to-back against Atlanta to end the month of February. Then you're going to have a good streak in March. All the Miami Heat need to do, you guys, is comprise a winning streak of about 3 to 5 games, and they can get over that hump. I think this Miami Heat team, currently constructed, can get out of the play-in. We just need a good run. And you know what? At the end of the day, Oklahoma showed last night what type of team they are. They're a contending team. And the fact that the Miami Heat competed with them for most of the game, it's something to lift your head about. But still, that fourth quarter, trash. Moving on to the topic of the video today, you guys, because what I just mentioned earlier, this Miami Heat team is missing that guy. They're missing him. So the point of trading Jimmy Butler was to create cap flexibility to, 1, be under the first apron so you can sign a buyout player possibly, and have cap flexibility for this offseason and potentially 2026. This offseason, Terry Rozier and Duncan Robinson will be on the final year of their contracts. And when players are on the final year of their contracts, they're movable. Teams want that, especially with the new NBA collective bargaining agreement with these apron lines. You can trade an expired player, you can buy them out, you have a lot of different options. But one player I want to talk about, you guys, who I feel that can help the Miami Heat, and we've talked about him a lot, we're going to circle back to him, Kevin Durant. To backtrack a little bit, you guys, Miami Heat and Phoenix Suns were doing everything they can to get Jimmy Butler to Phoenix. Couldn't happen because Bradley Beal would not waive his no-trade clause to go to a third team. There were two teams that were actually interested in trading for him, for what I've heard. I believe it was the Washington Wizards and the Detroit Pistons, something like that. But he wasn't willing to go to either team. He wanted to stay with Phoenix. Okay, it is what it is. So Phoenix shifted. They started fielding calls for Kevin Durant without Kevin Durant's knowledge. There was a package deal in place with the Phoenix Suns, the Golden State Warriors, and the Miami Heat. It was going to be a 3-team trade that was going to get Jimmy Butler to Phoenix and Kevin Durant to Golden State. When Kevin Durant found that out, he went to Phoenix and said, I do not want to go to Golden State. Turns out that problem he had with Draymond Green was bigger than we knew. He didn't want to play with Draymond again. Golden State respected his wishes, canceled the trade. They weren't going to do it, so they pivoted, and that's when they did the trade with Jimmy Butler straight up. After that, it was reported that Kevin Durant was blindsided from these trades. Completely blindsided. And now there's kind of a rift between Kevin Durant and Phoenix. Phoenix are the 11th seed in the Western Conference. This Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal experiment, obviously it's not working. Kevin Durant is potentially looking to get traded from the Phoenix Suns this offseason. It was reported by Brian Windhorst. He's probably going to get traded this summer. Kevin Durant knows it. The Phoenix Suns knows it. The rest of the league knows it. They're going to enjoy him while they have him. It's not really controversial in all honesty. End quote. So right there, you guys, they know the writing's on the wall. Devin Booker is their guy. That's their cornerstone. Bradley Beal, they're stuck with him. So now what Phoenix needs to do is get their finances in order, trade Kevin Durant, be able to get multiple pieces for a trade, so that way they can regroup. Not rebuild, regroup. Now the Miami Heat and Kevin Durant have always had mutual interest. So you know that when Kevin Durant becomes available this offseason, Miami's going to be one of the preferred destinations. When Kevin Durant was in Brooklyn and requested a trade, there were two teams on his wish list, Phoenix and Miami. We've had mutual interest for Kevin Durant since 2016, in that offseason when he went to Golden State. Apparently, Dan Le Batard reported that Eric Spoelstra designed an offense and presented it to Kevin Durant that wowed him, to the point that he was sold on Miami, until obviously Golden State came. But Miami was the number 2 team, apparently. It was also reported by Dan Le Batard, and this is something I did want to bring up to you guys, that there were talks about a potential trade. There were talks from the Phoenix Suns and Miami about Kevin Durant. Now, there was a report before that there was a trade possibly where Kevin Durant was going to Miami. Dan Le Batard nixed that. He said there was never a deal in place. There was a phone call where Pat Riley spoke with the Phoenix Suns owner, Matt Ishbia, and he asked for a ridiculous amount for Kevin Durant, and that's where the conversation ended. Per Dan Le Batard, he said they wanted the whole team. They wanted Jaime Jaquez, Khalil Ware, Nikola Jovic, future first-round draft picks, pick swaps. They wanted multiple players as well, basically gutting the roster. And Pat Riley said, no, I'm not doing that. So what the Miami Heat are going to do, instead of being desperate in the midseason trading for Kevin Durant, they'll wait till the offseason, where Kevin Durant's on an expiring contract. He'll be making $56 million in the offseason, you guys. Phoenix is the second apron team, but in the offseason, certain contracts expire. They get off your books, so now your salary goes down a little. So in the offseason, you're able to make a flexible trade. Now, Kevin Durant's going to be 37 next year. And if you're signing Kevin Durant, now you have to possibly talk about an extension of a contract. Can the Miami Heat just get 1 year out of Kevin Durant? And if you're trading for a guy that has 1 year, what are you going to give up? it's going to have to be a package surrounding Andrew Wiggins. You have to also include Terry Rozier or Duncan Robinson's contract as filler. Sweeten the pot with Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic. You might have to give up your first round draft pick in either 2025 or 2026. Maybe even attach another future first round pick. Is that enough for Kevin Durant? I know people are saying Kevin Durant he's going to be 37. But look at his numbers, you guys. For this season at 36 years old, he's averaging 27.3 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.5 blocks, a steal a game. One of the greatest offensive players in NBA history. When you look at a guy like Kevin Durant, I see a guy that has maybe the same type of longevity as LeBron James. Not the same, of course. He's not a freak like LeBron, but he's still playing in his prime well into his 30s. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, you don't want Jimmy Butler, who's younger than Kevin Durant. You want a guy that's older? Well, they play different games. Remember, Jimmy Butler's game is predicated on getting to the paint, getting hit, and getting to the free throw line. That shit wears off after a while. We saw that with Dwayne Wade. Once those players hit after 35, their game drops incredibly. You need to have a jump shot. You need to be known as a shooting threat when you get to the other side of 30. LeBron James became that. Kevin Durant is definitely that. So if there's a possibility to trade for Kevin Durant for this offseason, I might entertain it. So Heat Nation, what do you guys think? Would you be willing to trade for Kevin Durant this offseason? Do you prefer the Miami Heat keeping this team the way it is and maybe going for a different player in the 2026 offseason? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Before I close this episode out, I didn't want to do this in the beginning of the episode. I'm all about positivity, and I didn't want to bring anyone down. But something did happen a couple days ago, you guys. I got some really terrible news. One of my oldest friends, Eric Guzman, got some unfortunate news that his brother, Kevin, passed away a few days ago. He was hit on the highway. And I just found out recently myself. He's not my brother, obviously, but I knew him. We actually did backyard wrestling together. Before I started training to be a pro wrestler, I did backyard wrestling with my buddies. We were called DSW, Dollar Store Wrestling. Shout out to the boys. Kevin was a part of that. And he leaves behind a wife, 2 boys, loving family. It sucks, man. It sucks losing people. Kev, I love you. Rest in peace, my brother. And I'll see you on the other side. My condolences to the Guzman family. I love you guys. We just have to remember, you guys, that every day is a gift. It doesn't matter what we're going through in life. We just got to think positive and be happy for what we have. You have a wife, kiss her. You have a husband, kiss him. You have kids, kiss them. Tell them you love them. If your mom and dad are still alive, call them. Tell them you love them. Tell them thank you. Family members, send them a text. Yo, I love you. Because tomorrow's not promised. I love you guys. Enjoy your day. Stay positive. Rest in peace, Kevin. And until next time, your boy Ernest out. That's enough said.